Welcome to Manufacturing Day 2020, St. Charles County. This is a virtual event. I'm Scott Drochnik, your host from the EDC St. Charles County. And first off, I want to welcome all the students around our community and around the region that are watching us live. And I know that we're recording this, so there'll be other folks watching this at a later date. So thank you very much for being here. First off, I want to thank all of the folks that helped make this virtual day possible for 2020 for Manufacturing Day. That includes the City of O'Fallon, the O'Fallon Chamber, the Greater St. Charles County Chamber, the St. Charles Community College, St. Charles County Department of Workforce and Business Development, Missouri Job Center of St. Charles County, and also the EDC. So we're very glad that you're here. For those of you that don't know, manufacturing is alive and well in our community. It actually accounts for over $1 billion every year in annual wages for the workers that are in our community. You would be amazed at the number of things that are made in St. Charles County. And in just a little bit, we're going to talk with some of the panelists and see some videos so you'll have a better understanding about what manufacturing is, what it does, and what's made here in our area. For instance, you would be amazed, but in St. Charles County, we not only make vehicles, we make parts for helicopters and airplanes. We make missiles. We make electronics. We make pet food and pet products. We make human food. We make biological things for pharmaceuticals and for helping food to grow around the world. And we also make a lot of other things as well, including Nike Air products that are sold around the globe. So with that said, we're going to take a moment. We have a great panel lined up today that includes everybody from WB Industries, Permian Plastics, Sire Industries, as well as True Manufacturing. And what I'm going to do is take each of the panelists, have them take a moment to introduce themselves, tell us for about a minute or so about their company. And then after that, we're going to begin asking them some questions, some that I have, and some that you or your teachers may actually be sending in. And through that, we're going to intersperse it with some videos to help you see and experience what we're talking about. So thank you again for being here. Let's start with Connie from WB Industries. Hey, Connie, thanks for being here. Introduce yourself and tell us for about a minute or so more about your company. Oh, and I think you might still have your mute function on. This is all us learning to use our technology. Little click down at the bottom where the microphone is. There we go. Let's try again. Connie, greetings. Glad you're here. Take a moment, introduce yourself, and tell us about your company.
Sure. Thanks, Scott. Pleasure to be here. Appreciate you all including us in this great event, and looking forward to a good event and hearing what everybody has to ask, all the good questions. Looking forward to it. I am one of the owners at WB Industries here in O'Fallon. We are a manufacturing company that is very strong in the aerospace industry, but also provides services for other industries as well. We are all over the country. We service companies right here in St. Louis and ship a lot of our products all throughout the country. You can find our products on city streets, under city streets, on Navy ships, flying up in the air, and we help support a lot of the commercial as well as the military aircraft, helicopters, missiles, rockets, and anything that a customer may need for us to manufacture that's custom and unique to that customer.
Very good. You guys have been a growing company in the area, and we love having you here. I'm going to come back to you in a little bit with some more questions, so hang on. Up next, we've got Ben Abbott. Don't forget to unmute yourself. Ben Abbott is the, is it CEO or Grand Poobah? I know you've got a special title over there at Permian Plastics, but take a moment, introduce yourself, and tell everybody about Permian Plastics.
Thank you, Scott. Good morning, everyone. I am the president here at Permian Plastics, and we've been in business in St. Charles County for 25 years. We're a custom plastic injection molding company, and we serve other OEMs in various industries from lawn and garden, medical, disposable labware, general industrial products, electronics, electrical components, and all of those markets. We run 3 shifts, 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, and happy to be part of the discussion today. Thank you.
Ben, appreciate having you here. Up next, we've got 2 great folks, Matt and Shamel from True Manufacturing. Hey, could the 2 of you introduce yourself and let people know more about this company that they probably use your products but don't realize it's you?
Thanks, Scott, for having us. Shamel, you want to introduce yourself first?
I don't mind. Either way.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Shamel Moore with True Manufacturing. How you doing, Scott? Good morning. I'm one of the workers out on the floor. I'm a supervisor on the night shift. We are a refrigeration company. We do specialize in residential and commercial units. A lot of stuff that we make is customized to the customer. We also make ice units. And since the pandemic has happened, we have ventured into barrier guards, which we're calling sneeze guards, for our communities.
Sneeze guards, that sounds interesting. I think we actually have one of the guards you guys have made up on our front desk when people walk in. Matt, anything else you can tell to introduce yourself or add to all the good info that Shamel's already given us?
Yes, I can. Shamel did a great job, but I'll add a few more details in. My name is Matt Lucas. I work in the operations department at True. Just a few more notes on our company. Very exciting year for us. We're celebrating our 75th anniversary. We're a large company in the state of Missouri. We have about 4.2 million square feet manufacturing space. And to put that in perspective, that's about 73 football fields.
Wow.
We have 4 facilities, one in O'Fallon, which is our headquarters, one in Mexico, Missouri, Pacific, Missouri, and Bowling Green. And that's about 41 production lines. As Shamel said, we do a lot of refrigeration. We do retail, which is kind of your bottling, Walmart's, Dollar General's, customers like that. Food service, which is kind of the back of house kitchens and bar equipment, Papa John's, McDonald's, Starbucks, customers like that. We also have to do international for big customers such as McDonald's. So a lot of voltage units, 220 volt, 210, and do residential units. So high-end home units, under counter and upright units. So we're very versatile in what we do in the refrigeration industry.
Very good. You're kind of making me hungry and thirsty just hearing all about that. In a second, we're going to show everybody a quick video. But before we do that video, I want to introduce last but definitely not least, my good friend Chris Sire, CEO over at Sire Industries, 3rd generation family-owned firm in St. Charles County. Introduce yourself a little more, sir, and tell us about that company.
Hey, Scott, thank you for having me. My name's Chris Sire. Like Scott said, work here at Sire Industries. This is a family business in St. Charles County. We're an aerospace and defense manufacturer, so we serve both the military and commercial customers. We have about 200,000 square feet, about 250 employees. We do a lot of CNC machining, welding, assembly. We recently.
Well, it looks like we might have lost Chris there for a moment. That's how technology is, right? We got to invent some better technology. Chris, we're going to bring you back up. Hopefully you're logging back in. And I thought he had some really cool posters behind him, to be honest. And if we've got a chance, our great fellow who's monitoring all of this, Scott Tate from the Greater St. Charles Chamber, is about to show us a quick video, and then we'll come back and get into some specific questions with our manufacturers. Scott, if you're ready, let's go ahead and roll it. Very good. Just a little reminder from GM. They are one of the larger manufacturers in St. Charles County, but they're typical of all the great stuff that's going on. We have companies that are 1 or 2 people making neat things sold around the world, all the way up to companies with 3, 4, and 5,000 individuals working in manufacturing, making some good stuff. I don't know if Chris is going to sign back in, but we're going to go to some questions, and I'm going to throw this out. Anybody can answer, but first off, students are always interested. How did you get involved in manufacturing? How did you start your career? And so why don't we go with Ben first, and then anybody else can jump in. How'd you get your start in manufacturing?
Sure. I took a part-time summer job at a engineering firm that did rapid prototyping, and I was basically there to sweep floors and track down parts for the tool makers and the maintenance guys.
Wait. You started sweeping floors, and now you're president of the company?
It was at a different company, but yes. And so they bought a couple injection molding machines. I was asked to run those once the engineers got them up and running, and trimming some parts, and then eventually just learned how to run those machines. We made a lot of cool things there. We just never made any money, and so they ended up going out of business. And I answered a help wanted ad for Permian, and started there as a second shift material handler. Working overnights, and non-air conditioned facility. I mean, it was a totally different environment at the time.
Oh my gosh! From working on the line to being president. So what are you making per hour? No, I'm teasing. Don't tell me that. Anybody else want to jump in? Connie, how did you get your start in manufacturing?
Sure. When out of college, started with in the medical industry, actually, in the hospital industry. And worked in corporate health. And what we did is we spent a lot of time working with different manufacturers, and all, from car people to people that made food and that good stuff, and learned about how a employee and worker functioned in that environment, and tried to make it as safe as possible. So it exposed me to many different industries, and I was really interested in the whole process of making things from scratch, so to say. And that's a lot of like what we do here. We take metal and we cut it and process it and put it together, and it becomes a functioning product for our customers.
That's cool. Hey, I'm not going to ask each and every person all the same questions, but let me just jump to Shamel. Shamel, did you ever imagine you were going to work in manufacturing, and how did that actually come about?
No, Scott. I kind of lucked up on the job. Quite a bit of the story, but the job was meant for my brother, and I ended up getting it. Short story, long story short. But I came out of high school, and I just needed something to get me into something just to pass the time. I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to go back to school, and it didn't end up turning into me going back to school, because I actually found satisfaction and fulfillment in the job that I was performing it through. I knew that there were a lot of ways to move up here in this company, and I've seen many around me, as well as myself, And so I ended up making this into a career for myself.
That's
That's kind of how that came about.
That's great. That's great. I appreciate it. And everybody, remember, if you're not chatting, go ahead and mute so that we don't hear if your phone rings or if you're typing or anything. Looks like we got Chris back from Sire Industries. Chris, can you hear me? Gonna have to unmute, buddy. Chris is still working on it. We're gonna have to get that guy a better camera. So let's go to the next question if we can.
Hang on.
Let me throw
There you
this
go. Can you hear
out.
me?
Oh, there he is. Are you with me? Perfect. Chris, if you can hear me, tell me, how'd you actually get your start? Did we lose Chris? We're going to move on. So we're going to start with training and experience and that kind of thing. We've already heard Ben started sweeping floors and then got a second shift job. But what kind of training and experience do you think is needed for somebody to get into the cool career opportunities that manufacturing has? Anybody want to start with that one? Madam, I'll pick on you. Unmute, buddy. What kind of training and experience is helpful?
Yeah, Scott, I could jump in here. True's a big company. There's lots of opportunities. I myself started on the factory floor, had no training in manufacturing whatsoever, didn't work with my hands as a young kid, anything like that. Most of what we do, hands-on training, is bringing people in and doing that on the job. We actually even teach some classes before you go to the manufacturing floor. We teach what's called Production 101 and Sheet Metal 101, where you actually get some hands-on activities in a classroom setting. You'll actually build some parts, use some drills, use some taggers, different tools that we use on the factory floor. We teach you how to read a drawing, how to read a tape measure, so you know how to fabricate parts. So we do a lot of that before you go to the factory floor. So we don't really require a whole lot of training or experience coming in the door. Now, we do have specialized jobs, engineers, machine tooling, things like that, where people will go to school and get their degree before they come in. But most of our manufacturing on the floor, we don't require any hands-on training before coming in to start.
Gotcha. Ben, I know you guys work with a lot of folks from a lot of backgrounds. Is there training and experience that is also provided by Permian once somebody is hired?
Absolutely, and it's usually tailored to their unique job. So if it's a quality department employee, they may get blueprint reading training. They may get specific training on a microview inspection unit, geometric tolerancing and dimensioning. If it's a production worker, there's some paths they can take there. So there's maintenance support workers who are basically in charge of ensuring that the machines are kept in safe, efficient working order. And then there's the people who actually run the machines, produce the plastic parts. And then there's the, production line inspectors. So a lot of different unique training for each of those jobs. In addition to that, we're an ISO 9001 company. So we have internal auditors that are staffed across all the various departments. And then you have the support functions, shipping and receiving, material handling, warehousing, and all that kind of stuff. So really try to tailor training unique to those different functional skill sets.
Connie, I'm going to have you jump in on this. After Connie, we're going to show you all another quick video about manufacturing. But Connie, tell us about training that's available or experience needed at WB. And let's also make sure folks realize whether you have college after high school and you're just good with your hands, I'm sure there's also IT people that you guys have hired, or HR professionals, or people who have degrees in engineering or whatever. So tell us about that. And then after Connie, we're going to see another quick video.
Sure, definitely. I love what Ben said. It takes a team of all different types of people to produce a product that we make. Like you said, from IT to maintenance to a machinist to an engineer, a design person. It takes all of those skills. One of the things that we work on a lot here, obviously, are the skills like welding, machining, engineering. But also a big thing we take a lot of time in is learning how to collaborate with each other, working with each other as a team. Communication skills are super important. So even though you're working on your foundation in those skills, whatever discipline that you're in, remember that those people skills are really important too. And we focus a lot on those as well.
That's it. Hey, Chris, can you hear us? Can you actually say something this time? Batter up, Chris. We're talking about training and experience. What kind of things
Hi guys.
are required?
Terrible connection.
That's okay. You guys build helicopters, not computer video cameras. I got it. What kind of training or experience is required for folks at Sire, and do you provide additional once they're hired on?
Yeah, we always look to have trained employees. Obviously, when we hire on, we don't necessarily hire raw, somebody with no skill looking to get trained. So we hire out of technical schools, Rankin, Southwest Industrial College, or Southwest Illinois College, and other places. And once they're hired in here, we do offer in-house training. We actually have an apprenticeship program through the German American Chamber of Commerce called the ICAT program.
And we're going to show a video in just a quick second, but Shamel or Matt, I just saw we had Tyler send a question saying, what kind of welding do y'all do over at True Manufacturing? Plus, it looks like they want an application for the Bowling Green facility. But can either Shamel or Matt real quick tell us what kind of welding, and then we're going to show one more video.
Yeah, Tyler, for the most part, we do TIG and MIG welding. Definitely, we'd love for you to apply at our Bowling Green plant. So stop in and fill out an
Very good.
application.
I think we've got another video for everybody to take a peek at, and then we'll continue on with questions to our panel.
Very nice environment to work, and people are respectful from up to down. They're looking to get as much as success they want. That makes them comfortable. Not just for the office, it's not just for people who are in management, it's all inclusive, all the way down to the people on the floor.
Well, welcome back to Manufacturing Day 2020 St. Charles County and our virtual event. We've got a great panel. We're seeing a lot of neat videos. I love the questions that are coming in from students and teachers. We've got some questions ourselves. And if you want to know more about manufacturing in St. Charles County, later on when you get a chance, go to www.growmanufacturing.org. That's the local one here in St. Charles County. Appreciate all the videos that were sent in to us by various companies and other agencies. And we've got more of those on that webpage that you can look at a later point. We're talking with a great group of panelists from WB Industries, also True Manufacturing, Permian Plastics, and my good buddy over at Sire Industries. We're going to try him again. But first up, we had a quick question from one of our Project Lead the Way teachers in the Fort Zomont School District, if I saw correctly. and she was asking about coding and programming. Is there any kind of computer programming and coding that's required or even used at your industry, at your company? Chris, we're going to give you another shot. Can you unmute and tell us what kind of programming or coding might happen out there at your company?
Yeah, so we don't have computer programming or software programming in the traditional sense. What we do have is CNC programming. So we have quite a few CNC machines that require computer code to drive the spindle to cut the chips. And we have 6 or 7 CNC programmers on staff. So you are writing what's called G code, which is a form of programming that allows us to manufacture the aircraft parts as we receive them from our customers like Boeing and Gulfstream, Northrop Grumman, and so forth.
Very good. Connie, what about at WDB Industries? Is there much coding, whether it's on the CNC machines or computer inventory or any of that type of thing?
Yeah, same as Chris. We have CNC machines that need programmed, just like Chris had mentioned. As far as IT out of the programming world, we do require a lot of IT help when it comes to securing our data and information required by the U.S. government. We've got standards that we have to comply with. ITAR is one of them, as well as a new requirement called CMMC, which is a cyber maturity model that we will have to comply with. So a lot on that end as it comes to computers and securing our data and making sure it's not getting into the wrong hands.
Cybersecurity is super, super important, especially so many things have gone virtual these days. What about Shamel and Matt? Any kind of programming or computer stuff that's required, programming things out at True Manufacturing? And then we'll get Ben's take on it as well.
Yeah, Scott, very similar to what everybody else said. Obviously, IT and CNC machines. I think the other big part for us is robotics. A lot of programming into robotics. That's big for us, and starting to see more and more of that as we move into the future. So those are probably the 3 big areas for us with coding.
Very good. Anything to add to that, Shamel? You've been doing any programming or any computerized stuff on the line or as you're supervising?
As Matt said, the same thing with the robotics, and we're seeing more of that year by year. Some of the programming in the computers, which that's pretty much like what everybody else said.
I gotcha. How about you, Ben? In plastics.
So very similar to what Chris was saying at Sire. The injection molding machines, they have programmable controllers on them that are all touchscreen, and so you have to actually program how you're going to inject the resin into the tool and all of those kinds of things. We also use robotics, similar to what Shamel said, and so we require, and a lot of that stuff is specific to those specific brands or models of equipment. So we'll have to get some very specialized training on for the individuals who operate those pieces of machines.
And I have had a chance to walk around a lot of manufacturing facilities in St. Charles County. And of course, everybody's different depending on the product they're making. But I remember walking around the Nike Air facility, and one of the young men that was there was showing me a computer program that he had written for the production line, and it had sped up production and made things more efficient and used less product and time to do what they were making at that location. And that's true in other locations as well. It just depends on the product or what actually is going on. And I know it was mentioned again, but in case Tyler didn't see it, Shamel, tell us what kind of welding is out there at True Manufacturing? That question keeps coming up.
TIG welding and MIG welding. We also do some brazing, like copper to copper and copper to steel with flux.
Is that like flux as in flux capacitor?
No, the brazing rods that they use.
I'm just messing with the future joke, Okay, very good. He gets it now.
Sorry.
Oh, you're going to build a manufacturing facility. So keep those questions coming in from teachers, from students. We're going to move on to the next one that we've got. Of course, we're virtual today. It's 2020. This has been a horrible year, the year of the pandemic. And so everybody's kind of curious, how has the pandemic and coronavirus impacted your company? How has it helped or made it harder? What kinds of adjustments have you had to make? And so, Chris, we're going to go to you. What kind of impact has coronavirus had at production and employment and maybe even supply and demand over at Sire Industries? Gonna have to unmute, buddy. Don't forget to unmute down on the bottom. There we go.
There's a delay. All right, you can hear me.
Yes, sir.
So as with everyone, there's been a change, of course. We've, as far as daily operations, we've decentralized a lot of the common areas. So our lunchrooms, some of our assembly areas, places where people congregate, we now are much more spread out. The natural layout of our shop, though, the machines are large enough to where each machine operator is far enough apart where they don't have to take really any additional precautions. In the office.
And we're going to move on to Ben. Ben, can you tell us how the pandemic has had any kind of impact on employment, on safety, on supply and demand, even on sales over at Permian Plastics?
Sure, it's impacted all of those things that you just talked about. So we have some customers that are up tremendously year to date, and we have some that really struggled for a few months there as they were tied to industries that were hit hard, hospitality, restaurant type applications, things like that. Similar to what Chris was saying at what they've done at Sire, we've like our break room is closed, so we've set up some tables in the back of our plant that are spaced out where people can go. We have an outside break area that they're allowed to go in. Masks in the office. We've got kind of just the ability for anyone to work home from the office at any time. There's really no need to get it approved or anything like that. We've got everybody set up for to do that both on phones and computer system. But it's, a lot of these kinds of meetings, virtual task force meetings, virtual customer calls. We've even gone so far as to have virtual plant tours with customers, just so they can see that their mold is running or that their new, product is actually in our hands. So it's been a challenging year, but I think a lot of the investments we've made in remote working and, that kind of stuff is only going to make us stronger when things do eventually get back to something that resembles what the prior life looked like.
There you go. And in general, would you say sales are the same as a year ago, or they're up or they're down? What is it for Permian, given the
So we are up year over year, and we've had several customers that are very strong and have kind of outweighed the ones that are have declined year over year. So
very good.
In general, most all customers' outlook for next year is positive, though.
Perfect. Connie, let's throw that to you. What kind of impact has the virus had at WB Industries, and sales static, up, down compared to a year ago, given the virus?
Yeah, sales are up because of our customer. We work a lot with the government, and they wouldn't allow us to stop. So we kept working, obviously taking everyone's health into consideration and making the changes just like everybody else mentioned. The orders continue to come in. Our warfighter, they need their equipment and they need it to keep flying and rolling and all that good stuff. So yeah, we did not notice any bumps along the way. We just kept plowing through and staying safe and working hard. Very good.
Shamel and Matt, what can you tell us from True Manufacturing, the impact of the virus, sales up or down compared to a year ago? Any special precautions you've all had to take?
Matt might be able to give you the specifics on whether sales are up or down since he's operations, but I can just tell you as far as my team and the leadership that I'm under, we have actually became stronger as a team, more so holding each other up. There's certain departments where that there is space enough to social distance, and as an department as mine, there isn't. And we've kind of just made our peace with having to wear the mask and all the extra precautions. We have people that come in and sanitize for us nightly, all the workstations and everything that we have to touch. Same thing as the other companies where we have the lunch rooms are separate, social distancing. So I just really have seen how resilient my team has been. We've all just kind of the morale has actually came up, and we've cheered each other up every night, and we just tell each other we're going to make it through this. And as he stated already, I believe that was Ben, once we get to a familiar place, I think we'll just continue to be stronger.
There you go. Now, Matt, sales static, up, down compared to a year ago, given the virus?
Yeah, I think Ben kind of hit it right on the head. It's more of a switch in sales for us. Obviously the food service industries have taken a hit with the pandemic, so food service may be down a little bit. But then yet again, retail, your Walmarts, your Dollar Generals, your Targets, all of those are boom right now for sales. So that obviously is a boom for us. So I would say more or less it's just been a switch from food service over kind of to retail.
Overall, what I've been reading and what I've been hearing from manufacturers is that the virus has reminded us we need to make things here in America because of the time delay and logistics and other rules in other countries. Oh my gosh, we didn't have enough masks in America, or we didn't have enough medicine. I still can't find the toilet paper that I want sometimes. So I mean, it's important that we're not only dependent on trade, but that we make things in St. Charles County, in Metro St. Louis, in Missouri, and in the United States. And all of these folks on our panel are testaments to that. We're going to talk about one more question that came in, and then after that, after a few panelists weigh in, we're going to show another video. But one of the questions that came in from the teachers was, what about robotics? Is that replacing a lot of jobs? And is there a fear of people won't have a job because everything is going to be automated? Let's start with Connie. What about automation? How is that impacting workforce? What do you see where that's going to go in the next few years and how it will impact people?
Great question. So we do not use a lot of robotics here. Because of what we manufacture, it really is unique each time. We don't make the same thing over and over again. So we're always looking though to what, different advances that we can take advantage of to improve our efficiencies, like a 3D printing opportunity or, other ways to include new emerging types of situations. So that's kind of where we are. Unfortunately, we have not been able to use robotics. We really depend on the individual to accomplish what we need to finish.
Very good. Good to know. Hey, Ben, what about at Permium? The impact of automation, of robotics, the impact on workforce. Is everybody going to be unemployed and robots running everything at Permium in the next 3 to 5 years?
Certainly not in our industry. A couple things about the unique things we found in using robotics. So we use them for some of the monotonous, repetitive movements. Sometimes a machine will cycle every 10 seconds or every 20 seconds. And so some of what the operators were doing before was just physically grabbing or touching something as it came out of the machine. So now the robots actually present those to the workers. So the workers can have more time to inspect and to not have to turn their bodies and move, and grab and reach it. And so from a repetitive work injury standpoint, it actually reduces. It's a safer way of getting a lot of those things. They're not having to reach down and pick up bins of parts and dump them onto inspection tables. But the other thing, before we had those, there wasn't the option for people in here to learn that kind of stuff. So it was like a new skill that was brought into the company that we were able to train people on. And so it actually offered a source of advancement for some people where maybe that it just didn't exist here before. And so we've seen it where it may limit a little bit on the future hiring side, but we've never replaced an actual individual with a robot. It's always been meant to supplement the jobs of the workers we have.
Very good. That's good to know. And Shamel and Matt, what about over at True Manufacturing? Is there automation there now, and where do you see that going? Is it going to just replace everybody?
Yeah, I don't think replace anybody. I don't think anytime soon. And we have lots of equipment that comes in, and our team members do ask that, is this meant to replace any of us? And I always say it's only meant to help, to assist you guys. Because as we know, robots, just kind of like this meeting today where he's going in and out, is no different than a robot. It's the same thing. It's going to be times where it just decides to do things and malfunction, and it's going to need someone like you or I there to help it get along its way. So
that's a good point.
It's just here to assist.
That's a good point. Matt, anything to add on that, sir?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think Ben was perfect what he was talking about too. The mundane, boring jobs of picking up a part, placing it somewhere else that someone doesn't want to stand there for 10 hours a day and do. Ergonomic issues, somebody picking up a big, heavy part. We would rather have a robot do that than have somebody get hurt, bending, twisting, picking up parts. And then the other thing is just sometimes we do some very difficult parts where quality is hard to repeat. A robot does a great job at repeating quality at times. So there's some times where it's just very difficult for a team member to produce a difficult part. So that robot will continuously repeat that over and over with, very few flaws. So to Ben's point, that's kind of what we use them for, is not to replace anybody, just to take away the difficult jobs, the mundane jobs, the ergonomic stuff, things like that.
Gotcha. In a moment, we're going to show a video. Man, I'm going to throw one more question to you because it keeps popping up. But let me just weigh in on this question about automation and whatnot. Let's keep in mind, somebody has to build the robot or the computer. Somebody has to design the software. Somebody has to maintain the software and the cybersecurity and the upgrades. Somebody's got to fix the machine when it breaks down. So even though there's more automation coming and it's assisting people to do their jobs better, it still involves people to make it work, to invent it, to create it, to maintain it, and keep it going. Before we go to a video here in just a second, Matt or Shamel, this question keeps popping up, and I don't want to ignore any of the cool questions coming in. But one of the students is asking, is it difficult making different coolers for different parts or something like that? Maybe you guys could, Matt or Shamel, you want to weigh in on that question?
Yeah, so I could weigh in. I wouldn't say it's difficult. Obviously, we have to.
The hardest part of making different coolers for different places is what's Tyler's asking.
I guess my answer would be, making a cooler is a cooler. Obviously, you're going to put different components in there, whether it's a refrigerator or a freezer, but the same base premise of putting the outer shell together, putting an insulation into it, putting the wiring, the motors, the compressor that's going to run the unit, the lighting, all very similar. It just, yet again, it's specialized on what a customer would like, what color they want their unit to be, whether they want a solid door or a glass door, whether they want a refrigerator or a freezer, so it's not difficult to, I guess, build a refrigerator. If anything, it's just difficult to remember all the different parts that have to go in for the different customers and what they're asking for.
Shamel, anything to add to that?
I don't know that there's a hardest part, just like with anything, no different than going from crawling and walking when you were a toddler or learning your ABCs. It's the same thing. Once you get the great training that True actually offers, anything could be done. Just trust me, when I started, I had never used a drill or a screws, nothing.
Gotcha.
I worked a production line the first 4 years here with True, and everything that was taught to me, I was able to do.
That's great. In a moment, I want to come back to maybe the question of how can high school students get involved, or even college students, apprenticeships, internships, part-time opportunities. But I believe we've got a video to show, so let's see if we can show that video, and then we'll come back to our awesome panel and talk some more. Creators wanted. That is the truth. We not only want to make things here in St. Charles County, Missouri, and in America, but we want people to imagine and be inventors and be creators. That's what manufacturing is all about. All of these products and companies you're hearing about started with somebody that said, I've got an idea. I think I can make a better refrigerator, or I think we can do better in metal, or I think we can really help with plastics and products and all of those types of things. So again, I want to welcome you back to the 2020 Virtual Manufacturing Day in St. Charles County, talking with a great panel from folks at Permian Plastics, True Manufacturing, WB Industries, and our friend from Sire had to sign off, but they're a great aerospace company, third generation family in St. Charles County. Lots of neat other videos that you can see online at growmanufacturing.org. That's the manufacturing website we have to help promote careers and opportunities and news when it comes to manufacturing. And a lot of neat things made here in St. Charles County. Coca-Cola is made here. GM products are made here. And the stuff that our companies have been talking about. When we left, we had just started to kind of scratch the surface on maybe how students could get involved. Are there internships? Are there apprenticeships? Or what kind of training advice could you give them? Let's go back to Connie. And Connie, could you tell us what kind of opportunities might there be for students other than Tyler? Tyler better start working for True Manufacturing, get an application by the time today is done. But are there other opportunities for students that have an interest in these kind of careers?
Yes, for sure. Hey, we've got a really cool internship program. It's not structured 100%. We look at the individual that's interested in getting into the manufacturing industry and what they're interested in. We have had a lot of engineers and designers go through our internship program, but we've also had individuals interested in manufacturing sales, as well as in kind of a special project. We had a young man that wasn't sure where he wanted to fit in the manufacturing world. So he came in and we gave him made up a title for him, and he ran through our internship program as a special projects person. And he found his place after school in our estimating group. So we kind of keep our internship program open and looking at what the individual's interested in. We love having, usually it's either a high school senior or somebody in their first or second year of college that enters into our internship program.
And is there a certain kind of degree or training you're sort of looking for if they do go post high school to a training place or even college?
You know, a lot of times we look for the engineer, a designer, someone that might know CAD work, how to work CAD software. But again, we look at the individual and what they're interested in. And if we have a place or something that we're working through, then we'll design that internship program for that individual. It's kind of a unique way, I know, to do that, but we've had a lot of success by doing that.
Very good. Ben, let's go to you. Internships, apprenticeships, and any advice or any kind of background you're looking for kids once they get past high school, whether they go on to training, a school or trade school or university or college?
So it's kind of a variety of answers to those different questions. So we have done apprenticeship programs through St. Charles County Workforce Development at the Missouri Job Center. Those were for process technicians, the people who actually program the injection molding machines. We've got a student right now who's in the MoFame program through State Technical College, which is more of a maintenance automation program. We've got a couple of people here that are part-time workers that are actually going to college. So they're working 3 days a week on second or third shift, just to grab some money while they're working their way through college. Manufacturing companies in general, as a broad statement, they have, finance managers, they have human resources, they have, estimating and CAD and maintenance and sales and customer service and logistics. So there's really not one thing, but what's kind of interesting is that you can get a degree in something that you are interested in and still reside within a manufacturing company just because of all of the different functions are represented.
That's great. That's great. Hey, Matt and Shamel, what about over at True? Any apprenticeships, any internships? What kind of background would you be telling students once they get past high school to get them ready if they really wanted to, like Tyler, work at True Manufacturing?
Yeah, I would agree with a lot of the comments that have already been made. We have co-ops we do, which, IT, engineering, sales, and marketing. We work a lot with the local universities, Missouri S&T, University of Missouri, Central Missouri, schools like that. We also do apprenticeships for machine tooling, automated technology, robotics. Again, we work with SWIC, Lynn County, State Tech. So working with a lot of different technical schools, the Rankins, things like that. But yet again, that's great if you want to go do those. But we also have, like I said, opportunities on the factory floor where no training is required whatsoever. You come in the door and we train you hands-on, and that's our job to take care of you, and we do that as well.
Do you have any internships? Are there internships, Shamel, over at True Manufacturing?
The internships that he mentioned, I don't want to tell you. He's operations. He knows more than I do. But what I'll say is, as he said, the hands-on training. For 4 years, I brazed, the metal, the copper to metal, and with the flux. And I never had used a torch in my life before, and I'd done that. And it was actually one of my most pleasurable jobs prior to being in leadership that I would have to say out on the production floor.
Very good. And folks, remember, here in St. Charles County, we have approximately 300 manufacturers of all type. This is just a handful of some of those wonderful companies. And I know that many of these companies, both from our panelists as well as others in the community, have very top-notch, award-winning internship programs, especially available during the summer. And I'm sure that others of them would be willing. Let's even do a show of hands. Connie, Shamel, Ben, Matt, if a school said we'd like to figure out how to get a tour of our students because they really want to see your thing, can we work this out in 30 or 60 days once COVID is done? How many of your companies would be willing to have a tour of students come out and see some cool stuff? Let me see you raise the hands. Very good. Or if a school said, we'd love to have you as a speaker for 10 or 15 minutes virtual and tell us more about your company and talk with our students, how many of you all would be willing to do that? Look at this. Let me see hands. Come on. Come on. There they are. Look at those hands. That's great. I appreciate that. One of the questions that's coming in, and I'll just throw this out to Connie real quick. Does your company actually deal with the distribution of the products you make, or do you just make it and it sits there? What happens? What happens after you guys create your product? Where does it go and who deals with that?
Sure. So when we make a product, it is for a customer. We don't have things sitting on a shelf that we ship off. It's a unique product that's made for the production of an aircraft or that holds a fixture or that type of thing. So we manufacture it and it is sent directly to the customer or to the OEM who then sends it on to the final customer.
Very good. Ben, what about you guys? You guys just make an inventory, or are you part of the distribution, or where does it go when it's done at your O'Fallon-based location?
So we make a lot of little tiny products. So we may ship out, 500,000 little tiny products on a truckload shipment. But yeah, so we distribute it. We make it, we try to make it as close to the date due as possible with a little bit of cushion there, But we've got trucks in and out of our plant, both bringing raw materials in and shipping finished goods out. So there's a lot that goes on the logistics, shipping and receiving side of things.
Appreciate that. And Shamel and Matt, I don't know which one of you needs to answer this question, but what do y'all do about distribution once you make those fridges? Is it just for orders? You got massive inventory, or how does it shipped out and move to where it needs to go?
Yeah, I can take this one, Scott. For the most part, a lot of our orders are bigger orders for some of the larger companies, the Targets, Walmarts. Obviously, we ship to them. We do have warehouses across the globe, and for like the smaller customers, you'll say like a Bob's Pizzeria in St. Charles, they work through distributors that are certified through us. So we will sell to the distributors, and the distributors will then sell to some of these local companies. And then they also kind of work with them on the service side and things like that. So since we're such a big company, they kind of have that close touch with a distributor.
Perfect. Folks, I want to be mindful of the time. We've only got a couple of minutes left. We're going to have a final video at the end to close out 2020 Virtual Manufacturing Day in St. Charles County. Let me throw out at least one last question to each of our panelists. We may get in two more, but one more question, and that is, and we'll start with you, Matt, because you're up right now. What kind of sense of satisfaction do you get at the end of the day at working at True Manufacturing? Is it just a paycheck and a job, or is there any sense of satisfaction beyond that for being in manufacturing?
Yeah, a couple of quick points just on this. For starters, I'm very competitive. I love working for a company that's a winner. We're an industry leader in what we do. So that makes me happy knowing that I'm coming in working for an industry leader. For second, our company's great. It takes care of us. Like you said, great paychecks, great benefits, all those types of things as well. But we also are family oriented. We do a lot of neat things at True Manufacturing. We've done family fun days. They've rented out Six Flags for us as a company. We've got to go. We've gone to a Cardinals game as a company. We've done on-site carnivals at our actual manufacturing places. We do sporting events every year. We have basketball, softball, and volleyball tournaments. They provide us with lunch and meals all the time. So it's just a great company to work for. When you feel appreciated, you wanted to go in and do your best work for them. So they always take care of me. So I always kind of in turn take care of them. So just a great company to work for.
Oh, I like that. Now, Shamel, remember you're on camera now. It's being recorded. Folks are going to see it. What kind of sense of satisfaction do you get working at True Manufacturing?
A sense of fulfillment, satisfaction, definitely coming in day by day. And we're building a new culture here at our company. As I said, we're just becoming stronger and stronger, and that we embrace that daily.
Very good.
There's a sense of fulfillment.
Connie, how about for you? Sense of satisfaction? What's it like at the end of the day? Oh, gosh, I got to go tomorrow, or what's it like?
Yeah, no, owning a company is very satisfying. The biggest for me personally is seeing our employees succeed, seeing them grow and their skills. And one of a comment that I hear often from our employees, from the engineers to the guys on the floor welding and the machinists, is we never make the same thing. It's always interesting. We're designing or value adding to products and designs that we get from our customer. And we all love what we do. We serve the military. We do a lot with NASA as well. So we're building some pretty cool stuff, and we're part of some really neat programs that are out there that you see fly overhead and go off into space. So a lot of satisfying things going on here for sure.
Very good. Ben, couple moments here. Any sense of satisfaction? What's it like working for Permian and being an industrialist?
Absolutely, and I'm sure my answer has changed over the years of working here, you know, but similar to Connie, I love watching employees succeed. I love seeing people get promotions, learn new skills, you know, and do better for themselves. I also love it when we're able to pull something off for a customer that, you know, that they didn't really think was going to get done. You know, they ordered it late, or you know, they got a big customer order and they needed some help, and just being able to jump through hoops and pull off miracles and help our customers succeed. I mean, it's a pretty awesome thing.
Very good. I want to thank all of our panelists, Matt and Shamel over at True Manufacturing, Connie over at WB Industries, Ben at Permian Plastics, Chris with Sire Industries, who was with us just a little bit of the time. And I want to thank all of the students and teachers and folks that were part of the live stream, as well as those that are going to be watching later. Also, let me thank the folks that helped put together today's event. We're talking about the City of O'Fallon, the O'Fallon Chamber, the Greater St. Charles County Chamber, of course, Tammy and the great folks at St. Charles Community College, everybody over at St. Charles County Workforce and Business Development and the Missouri Job Center of St. Charles County, along with us here at the EDC. We do incubation of manufacturing companies, we do loans for manufacturing companies, and a whole lot more. If you'd like to learn more about manufacturing, please, please, please share this video with others. Go to www.growmanufacturing.org. Learn more about it in St. Charles County. See all the neat videos that are available from other companies that are there. And we're going to close things out with a final video. But thank you for being part of St. Charles County's 2020 Virtual Manufacturing Day. We need inventors. We need industrialists. We need to make things here, and you can be part of that great future. Thank you so much, and thanks for being a part of this.